All right, hey YouTube, welcome back. This is going to be another piece of the Nehemiah Man concept that I've been talking about in the layers. Uh, I don't remember, I think this is 4 technically of how I have my gear set up. I have to look back at it, but I also wanted to do this video as an update, sorry, because I just got this plate carrier. If you've seen my previous plate carrier video, I was running a 511 Tac, and not a terrible carrier, especially for a first carrier, especially for being a gift, really not bad. But I got this plate carrier on a really good deal. It's an Ace Tac. I'll put the name of it in the description down below, just because I don't remember off the top of my head. It's something ultra, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. As you see, I got the multicam black. This just a patch I moved over from the other one. We'll start on this. This will be the right side cummerbund, and as you can see, I keep it pretty slick. It does have cells, so if I needed to add things, I could. However, I try to not put much on my right side because, as you've seen in my other videos, I carry a pistol on that side. The pistol's always with me, so I want to be able to draw it with no interference. Although I am kind of considering, just when I get a chance, just putting some mags in there and seeing how that goes, just to see. But on the side, I do have this little pouch, which is just an Ontario rescue cutter with a little oxygen wrench on there. I believe I got this from an eviction clean out I did when I was a carpet cleaner. And then I have a hair tie. When you've seen my talking head videos, you can see I have a fairly large beard, and when I'm wearing plate carriers and things, sometimes it can be hard to look down without it puffing up and blocking part of my view. So something to keep that out of the way, as well as when I was a painter, I used those to keep my beard more managed if I was wearing my respirator when we were painting, and it works out pretty well. So it's just something I like to keep around for different things that I'm doing. This placard here, as you can see, is in with the clips. I just moved them up because there's a couple of different slots right here where you can set your clips up for your placards. This is a Condor placard that my buddy had, and we swapped because this came with a little Velcro one, and I didn't like it just because of the way that I put the carrier on and off. I didn't like the way that it worked, and for him and his plate carrier, he liked the way that it worked, so we swapped because this fits this carrier better. But as you can see, I just got 3 mags in it right now. I can add some more pouches later if I want to, but I probably won't. I do like to keep this a little bit lighter because most of my other gear is on my person already through the other layers that I've talked about in this whole Nehemiah Man concept, and plussing up and all that kind of stuff. Before I forget, the plates that are in here are the LA Police gear level 4 11 by 14s, because I'm a big dude. So this is a extra large plate carrier, or large, or however they size them. I forget. And this would be the left side cummerbund. Looks a little extra bare now because I have the radio charging, but I have a radio that goes usually in this pouch here. Just because I have it facing so that the PTT is over here, so nothing can hit it until I can get a PTT guard for it. And just a mag up there. And I have my blacked out mechanics gloves. These are the impact versions. It's just good to have gloves on you. You never know what you're going to need them for. This pouch back here, as you can see, doesn't really match, but I needed something to keep some of the extra admin stuff that I like to have on my plate carrier with me. And so that's what this is for. So this is just like batteries, toilet paper, and then I have a little pocket blanket in here. Here, let me turn this over and pull this stuff out real quick, and I'll actually show you. Hopefully that was all in frame. I can't really see my camera. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I have to set this up to get everything in frame. But this little guy right here, these things are pretty cool. And one of the things I like about it is obviously this is not going to be like a warming blanket at all, but I like having this with me because if I have to maintenance any of the guns or anything like that, I have somewhere to put small parts that's not in the dirt or in the grass where it can more easily get lost, and it's just something to help keep track of things if I'm working on something. So that is something I recommend picking up if you can. Just even, I want to get a couple more for like my regular like tool bags and stuff like that, just to have them on hand, because stuff like that's just handy. And as you see, I have the brown bags, the batteries, and then the whites, obviously the toilet paper. You never know when you're gonna need it, and you don't ever want to have to try to substitute for your toilet paper. We learned that in 2021, didn't we, guys? Anyways, so this is the back of the plate carrier. It's slick right now. I do typically run my plate carriers and everything like that slick in the back, just so I can sit down in my vehicles and all that kind of stuff if I needed to, or even just sit down in a regular chair with a little bit more ease and comfort. I do have my Mandalorian patch. I love that patch. I actually think this was my buddy Joshua's before for a while, and then came to me. But one of the things I've been thinking about getting is a Velcro admin pouch from Haley Strategic to put back here. Sorry. Mostly because I have some 1-inch nylon that me and my guys like to carry with us. Usually it winds up in a bag, but it's enough to make a hasty drag litter if you needed to. And like I said before, I'm a big dude, and so dragging me without assistance is pretty hard. So I was thinking about getting that, because that all would still lay pretty flat. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it all that much. I do want to add a dangler in the front for a tourniquet. I'm probably going to put a couple of other tourniquets on here, maybe on the back side of this cummerbund, the right hand side cummerbund. But again, not 100% sure how I want to play that. I just know I want to have a couple extra tourniquets on my kits, just because if you need a tourniquet, you're going to need a tourniquet. And I carry one on my person all the time, but I've got 4 limbs, so I'd like to have at least 2 on hand in the situation where I would need this. So again, just something I'm thinking about, just how I want to do. Something you may have noticed talking about tourniquets is there is no trauma kit on this plate carrier, and I do not plan to add one. Reason being is my trauma kit is on my belt line, and that's where I put most of my focus. If you've seen my other videos and heard me talking about this Nehemiah man concept, just because that's always with me. Now, I am thinking and considering potentially rigging something up, again, like right over here. These cummerbunds, let me get this pulled across. So they have the 3 cells here. You can see right here. Oh, you didn't see that. Sorry, guys. So you have the 3 cells, 1, 2, 3, pretty easy. And this back one, well, it is a pocket. Let's see, you can see it there. See, goes all the way through. So I thought about rigging something up where I could potentially add a larger medical kit if need be, but I'm not sure, and I don't think I'm going to do that again, just because I carry med kits in all of my bags. I have med kits in my vehicle. I will when I get another vehicle, because if you've watched the other videos, you know my car's been down for a little while. But anyways, yeah, so I keep med kits all around all the time, and with what I carry on my person, on my belt line, I don't see the need to add it to this. The only thing, again, I'm really considering adding is a med kit, or sorry, not a med kit, a tourniquet to this plate carrier, at least one. Again, I'm probably going to want to do a dangler on that front area for that. One thing that I also have been considering, looking at the way this is set up, hang on, I'm trying to work around the tripod, guys, give me a second. It's a little awkward to get a grip on this guy and flip it. Alright, there we go. Alright, so got it flipped up. Alright, so one of the things I've been considering is, because of the way that this pouch over here, can you see that? Yeah, we're still in frame, sorry guys. The way this pouch here sits, I had seen some radio pouches that could go in underneath here, and then the radio would sit behind this mag. So I've been considering getting that and seeing how that runs with the radios that I have, or with the radio that I have, the Baofeng UV5Rs. just as a way of kind of protecting it, because they're not the toughest radios by any means. So yeah, just some thoughts on how I have my plate carrier set up, how I like to have my plate carrier set up, and yeah, just kind of continuing the layers of the Nehemiah man concept that I've been talking about. And if you're new to my channel and to this concept, I call it the Nehemiah man concept because I was reading the book of Nehemiah again. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible to just read. And something that kind of stood out to me was as they were talking about the building of the wall, was how every man was prepared. So it says that every man that labored with a brick in one hand and a sword in the other. And that got me kind of thinking about my EDC and all that kind of stuff. And then it also talks about how they had some men that stood ready with the spears at all times. They had others that were, and then they also had staged equipment for those that were laboring on the wall. So the sword was so if you got surprised, you could defend yourself, defend the wall, defend your family, defend the city, all that good stuff. But if you had a moment, you could go grab your plussed up gear and move to the conflict to defend the wall and your family and the city. Also, if you know that story, everybody was responsible for their part of the wall in front of their homes, or their family homes. And everybody slept in the city and was responsible for defending the wall, so they slept in their kit. It literally says that they did not take off their clothes except for to bathe, even when they slept, because they were always ready to get up and defend because the enemies were all around. And obviously, I'm not saying we have to be that extreme at the moment because we're not there. But I do think that it's time now that we look at our equipment and how we're set up and make sure that we are ready to layer in equipment as we need. And as you watch these videos and you see kind of my setups and how I do things, that is by no means what I think everybody should do. It's just what I do, what I think works really well, because it works well for me. Sorry. However, one of my buddies who's doing this with me and part of the crew that we have that's doing all this, and as far as the preparedness and all that kind of stuff, his body frame does not allow him to dress and carry stuff the way that I do. So he's built his own system that works for him that allows him to have the same capabilities, or similar capabilities to what I do and what I carry. So again, this is just to give people ideas on different ways that they can be prepared and ready to hold the line and defend their families, both now and in the good times, and as we see coming, the hard times. So yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you on the next one. Peace.